think we were saying that what you speak to yourself and the thoughts you have of yourself when you are developing a mental illness and then an eating disorder becomes part of that has a lot to do with the progression of that eating disorder and everything else that comes with it. So Cindy, like for you, the thoughts that you had of yourself and your self-talk, what part did that play in either maintaining the binge eating or even now that you're a whole lot better, how do you control your negative self-talk?
I think the self-talk played a big part for me because I would, even during the time when I was a binge eater, I would justify it to myself. So I would talk to myself and be like, this is okay, just eat all this now, tomorrow don't eat, you'll be fine, you can just undo the damage tomorrow, or just go to the gym, do an extra session. So it's like in two minds. So I would tell myself, it's okay to binge eat, just keep going, it's all right. So I would convince myself that it was okay. So when you start to train yourself to talk to yourself to stop and to go, what are you doing? Do you remember last time you did this and how you felt? And that got me through, I think. It sort of stopped that cycle, recognizing what was going to trigger me. Like if I had a fight with someone, I was feeling down, I knew I would go straight for food. And recognizing, no, that's not what I want to do because that didn't make me feel good last time I did that.
So how do you stop those thoughts now? Like when you have an unhealthy thought about yourself, what is that thought? And then how do you stop it?
I think telling myself that right now I don't feel good, go and eat this and you're going to feel better. And then when I do eat that, back then I would write it down. Like I had a journal because I would forget how I'd feel later, so I'll go back and read over and I would actually write notes about how crappy I felt when during that episode and remind myself and actually be in the moment and go, right now I feel like crap.
And it's okay to feel crap.
And then,
we all feel crap at times. But then what do you do to not snowball?
Yeah, I would walk away from food. That was the biggest thing for me. And I think my husband played a big part of that because he knew that my biggest binge eating times were at night when I would be on my own. So he would stay up too and help me. He'd be like,
how cool. What great support.
Yeah, he would be like, do you need to eat? What's happening? Where are you at? You know? And I'm like, stay with me because I don't want you to go to bed because if you go to bed, I'm probably going to end up in the pantry. Right? So, you know, and then, so that helped. I think it's being alone, you know, even at home, if the kids are at school, I'll come home, just without anyone being around, it was open for me to just eat and no one would be there and I could eat as much as I wanted and no one would know. If I ate a packet of chips, I would go and buy the same packet of chips and replace it in the pantry so no one would know that I just ate that. You know, because then my mum would come, like when I was younger, my mum would come, who ate the Tim Tams? I don't know. So I would replace that. But there, I think that you can easily, it's like doing anything in your life, you can easily convince yourself whether or not you're going to do it or not. If you want to go skydiving, you can talk yourself into skydiving, or you can talk yourself out of skydiving. You know.
What about you, Penny? What was your unhealthy self-talk?
I'm not
and
that.
Do you now recognise it and can you put a stop to it before it snowballs?
I think the biggest thing was probably that I just wasn't valued. That self-talk of self-loathing. And I've been, you know, in and out of a few rehabs where I've been on eating disorder tables where I've had to monitor absolutely everything that goes, you know, in my mouth. And as I was saying to Cindy before, it's just like there'd be people there that would be 40 kilos like myself or someone that would be maybe 140 kilos, you know. And what it comes down to is the brain. That's really the bottom line. You know, what do I do now? I mean, oh goodness me, if you open my fridge, you'd find nothing in it. I'm still doing that. I still have that battle on a daily basis to go, what do I put something healthy in the fridge or do I leave it completely empty? You know, and at the moment, I'm leaving it completely empty again. So I'm probably in that headspace. Whereas I can recognise it and I know that there's nothing there, but I generally will make a phone call and tell somebody how I'm actually feeling. You know, say I'm really struggling today and I really don't feel like eating, or I've gone the opposite and I have had a big, you know, takeaway or something like that. But then I don't punish myself the next day. I used to, 100%. You know, I'd make sure that you know, KFC wasn't in my tummy. Whereas today, it's a daily battle. It's still a daily battle for me to say, how can I eat healthy? Buy something and put it in the fridge to know it's there, that I can plan my week ahead instead of just doing the takeaways.
Yeah. For me, it was same thing, a sense of value, no sense of worth at all. And it stemmed from my perception that if I wasn't listened to, I wasn't loved or valued. And then I lived with those underlying beliefs my whole life. So when my marriage went downhill and separated, I felt like, okay, now you've failed. You're a failed wife because your marriage has fallen apart. You're not a good mother because your marriage has fallen apart. So that self-worth went rock bottom. And that's where I thought, okay, I know that I found value in myself before when I restricted my eating and upped my exercise. So when I ended up in prison through a whole lot of poor decisions, when I was at my lowest, I remember the first 3 weeks, because you don't have a choice of food, and I was locked up 18 hours a day, so there was not much room to move in a 3 by 1 metre cell. I remember having the thoughts, you deserve this, you are trash, you are worthless because look where you are. And I remember thinking, okay, you don't deserve to have a choice of food because you're here, so don't eat. I clearly remember having that thought, and that lasted for about 3 weeks, but I had done a lot of psychological work before that. And I sat and remembered all the sessions with my psychologist, which was those thought processes were where I came from. If I went back to those thought processes, this is not going to rehabilitate me. So I had to make a choice. I am not going to listen to that because that's how I ended up here. That need to feel some sort of sense of worth, and it came from, from wherever I could get it, which was not an appropriate way to feel validated. So I thought I cannot use food or control those emotions and thoughts with unhealthy diet and exercise habits, because it was making the problem bigger rather than stopping it. So now I use a stop sign. It's like my sense of worth is not based around my eating and exercise habits. My sense of worth is not based.
Nor is it the number on the scale.
Nor is it the number on the scale. Nor is it what my body shape looks like. That's not me. And that's why I refuse to call it my eating disorder, or say your eating disorder or their eating disorder, because that is labeling somebody, and it's not. You got to disown it. So disowning the whole process of your thoughts to the behaviours is part of that process. I'm not going to even engage in that thought anymore. So I think self-talk is a big part of it.